the Warrior Healing Center for our Thursday night podcast. Eric, show your face. Yep, there he is. He's back from another trip. He's joined us again. So,
for the moment, is there another plane ride coming?
no.
These days, I don't know.
No, okay, you're here. All right. So, Thursday night. Now, we do have a new guest, Dave Greenberg.
I'm actually pretty old, but
well, yeah, he's not new. Yeah, he's an old guy like us, but yeah. But he's a new member of the Warrior Healing Center Veteran Business Owner Network. Boy, that's a mouthful, isn't it?
Yeah. What's the initials on that?
Good. Yeah, we got to cut that short.
Yeah.
Eric, we got to work on that. Something short. The Warrior Healing Center Veteran Business Owner Network. I mean, that's a mouthful. But that's what we are.
Them guys who show up on Thursday.
We could do that. The people show. Yeah, the Thursday night crew. But I understand you've been around a little while right here in Cochise County.
Yeah, I came to Cochise County 46 years ago.
46 years ago.
Yeah. The population of the county was about 15,000, and 10,000 of them lived in Sierra Vista.
Wow.
So.
What year?
76.
Wow, that was a long time ago.
Yep. Came to Fort Huachuca because I didn't know where else to go.
Just picked it.
Well, actually, I was in Germany. I was stationed in Germany, and there was a motor sergeant there. It was time to re-enlist, and I said, "Where's a good place to go?" And he said, "Well, they got this great steakhouse right outside this place called Fort Huachuca, Arizona." And I said, "Steakhouse sounds good to me." So I enlisted for the steakhouse.
That must have been Daisy Mays.
Well, back then it was called the Stronghold.
Oh, really?
The G&M Stronghold.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep.
I thought Daisy Mays, that was the original name. No?
It was a G&M Stronghold back in the 70s.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
Yeah, been here a while.
It's a lot of history right here in Cochise County.
Yeah.
And you served in the Army?
I did. I did a tour in Germany and a tour here, and loved it. Loved the Army, but stateside tours just weren't for me. There was no mission to speak of.
When'd you go in?
74.
So did you go to Vietnam or?
No, I served in Germany during Vietnam, so that's my qualifier for the VFW.
Okay.
Served overseas during Vietnam, and glad I didn't go.
Yeah.
I really am. I know people that died of Agent Orange, and I know that people are still terrorized by the nightmares.
Oh yeah, I had a father that served in Vietnam. He was older, master sergeant when he went over, but he finally broke down when I got older and told me stuff he had to get off his chest.
My duty in Germany was pretty cool. I mean, I was with an MP company over there, and my job, I think, if I remember correctly, was to protect the guest houses of southern Germany from the commie hordes. And I made sure every weekend I was on duty. I was right there making sure that those rat commies didn't come into those guest houses.
Yeah. That was a whole different era, wasn't it?
It was.
1976, 74. That was a
75 and it was definitely different.
Yeah, I graduated in high school 75, so I missed Vietnam literally by a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I turned 18, it was over. I missed it, but
it was good duty over there, and I enjoyed being stationed at Fort Huachuca. But it just wasn't enough work to keep me busy.
And you just, I'm gonna stay here.
No, that's it. I got out here, and let's see. 3 wives later, I got 5 children, 10 grandchildren. They all live within 5 miles of me.
Now that's nice.
Yeah,
that's unusual.
We've raised a lot of family here, and we've had a lot of fun here, and involved in everything.
And they all stayed.
So far.
Yeah, you're lucky.
Yeah.
Because I mean, really, I got 3 kids with my current wife, and they're all of age. And now 2 of them are still here. One's already up in the Phoenix area. But they talk about leaving all the time. So I'm like, because, let's face it, small towns, kids grow up and they're like, oh, I want to go see the world.
But there's opportunity here that you make for yourself. My oldest son, it's my current wife's son, stepson, but he's great. and he served in Kosovo, and he did his he was an airborne combat engineer, so he took a beating.
Yeah.
But he works as a contractor on post, but he started his own business here, and he's the land LSR LLC, Land Speed Racing, and he's become a land speed racer. He works for Jay Allen, who owns the Broken Spoke Saloons, and they go to Bonneville every year, and they've got like 50, 60 records between them at Bonneville.
Really?
Yeah, that's a sponsor, Veterans of America Racing. Veterans of America Racing.
Wow, no kidding.
So that's one. I got next son. He's a service manager at the local motorcycle shop, and my daughter worked for the Department of Agriculture for many years, and she's now a stay-at-home mother of 4, which is a lot more work. All my kids. I mean, I got my other son works for a contractor on post, and he just built a 1,000 horsepower all-wheel drive car that he races.
Wow.
And then my daughter's with animal control.
I have never heard of this before. Veterans of America Racing.
Yeah.
Now I got a coworker. I know he's not watching the show because he's a Dolphins fan, which we're missing right now.
But that's a fish, right?
Yeah, well, it's also a football team.
Oh, I don't do them either.
Yeah, so he's watching. He's watching the game. So I know he's not watching us, but he loves racing, and he has a hopped up car he wants to get. I have got to tell him about this Veterans of America Racing.
Yeah, it's Bonneville Salt Flats up in Utah, and we go up there. This year it got rained out. It was they actually had kayak racing there instead because there was 4 inches of salt water. But they go 220 miles an hour on turbocharged Harley Davidsons.
Wow.
Dustin has his. They call it your 200-mile-an-hour hat, and he got his at El Mirage about 2 years ago, going 200 miles an hour, 207 miles an hour on a Kawasaki 1000. I mean, it's insane racing. It's not much of a spectator sport,
right?
Because here goes the guy at 200 miles an hour, and he's 500 yards away, so you just see this little dust spot going by.
You go, okay, I watched it. I saw that. Yeah. But it's got a lot of
fun. But anyway, my kids are all growing up here, and the 10 grandkids. I had to check. I've got 6 soccer games Saturday.
You're kidding?
No, because
wow.
I go to the grandkids' soccer games when I can, and we sponsor another race team up in Tucson, a 3-member race team. So we're going to the races in Tucson Saturday night. We sponsor O'Brien Racing, and I've been sponsoring Brian O'Brien for 20-something years, and now he has 2 children that are also racing. And he's got 2 kids that are aged right now 11 and 16 that are NASCAR champions.
Really?
Yeah, up at Tucson. So.
And all this is just right here in Sierra. It's amazing.
So anytime somebody says there's nothing to do, wake up, look around you.
Yeah,
and take a deep breath. I mean, if you take a deep breath, it's going to come into you. You can't avoid it.
I'm glad you said that because we've talked about that, me and Eric, other guests. There's a lot more going on right here locally than people. I think a lot of people just, they're in their own little world, and they don't realize what's all here available. Yeah. And that's one of the reasons why we're doing this podcast. At least letting know, hey, guess what veterans are doing here? Right here in Sierra Vista. We had a woodworker on this show. I didn't know there was a guy that lives right here in Cochise County that's national famous for making staircases. He's a master carpenter. You don't
out off of Molson Road.
Yeah, you've heard him. And people don't know that he does exist here. It's just amazing what we have right here.
And like I say, take a deep breath and it's going to come to you. It's amazing. You're right. What happens in Sierra Vista, they used to call it the best kept secret, and it doesn't have to be. You just got to tell people about it. And what you're doing here is great because I knew about the Candle Lady because she's a member of our realtor association. She's affiliated with our realtor association, so I knew about her, and she comes to our meetings once in a while. makes everybody smell nice.
We had her on last
I
week.
know, that's what I was saying. I saw that.
Oh, did you? Okay,
Oh,
great.
yeah. Oh man, I had to research what I'm going to have to put up with.
Oh, okay.
Or what I'm going to have to participate in. I'm sorry.
You're like, okay, who is this
Yeah,
guy?
who is this guy?
And what's his show about? Okay, yeah.
So I met the candle lady, but anyway, there's always something fabulous going on around here. Our realtor association just interviewed all the mayoral candidates and talk about an interesting variety of things going on in the city.
Mhm.
The thing going on at the West End and just all the work that goes on here. And it's been going on forever. 30 years. I was instrumental with Ducks Unlimited, and we put together a plan to build the Greywater Marsh, which has now become the Sierra Vista sewer treatment system. And I mean, that was 30 something years ago. So there's always something going on here. You just got to get out and see it
And get involved.
Don't sit there and say there's nothing to do.
Yeah, you get
Get
involved.
off your ass and go do it. That's really what it comes to. Can I say ass on it? Do whatever.
I think so.
Yeah, okay.
We're okay with that, right? Yeah.
So anyway,
No, and great point.
this is your show. You go.
No, actually, it's your show tonight.
It's your
So-
hour.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
So
I can fill it up.
you've already mentioned. Okay, you got the racing.
Yep.
You've already mentioned real estate.
Mm-hmm.
I
Been
take
doing
it
that for 37 years.
You're a
now.
real estate agent.
Real estate agent and broker.
Oh, broker. Okay.
37 years doing that, and I've seen these markets go up and down. It's right here in Cochise County. I'm known as the landman of Cochise County because I sell a lot of dirt, but I sell houses when I have to, sell whatever commercial. I did a
Mhm.
long stint as a commercial agent, so and that's fun. I like real estate. It's interesting because the market changes all the time. My wife is she's a mortgage banker. She's been doing that for 30 years. So she was actually my mortgage person, and then she happened to be single, and I happened to be single at the same time. So we went out on a lunch date that turned into a supper date that turned into we just celebrated our 25th wedding anniversary.
Oh, did you?
On the I forget the name of it, the Quantum of the Seas on an Alaskan cruise.
How soon?
Turned that into a 5 cruise around the northern and western United States in an RV.
Okay. Wow.
That was fun.
Wow.
Anyway, so she's a mortgage person. I'm a real estate person.
Me and my wife just had our 25th anniversary. We celebrated it September 3rd at Ruby's.
All right.
It was our 5-year business anniversary and our 25-year wedding anniversary, same day.
Yeah.
So we had a celebration. Turned out real nice.
This is the best wife I've ever had. I mean, I've been married 3 times. She was married 3 times, and we finally clicked, and it really worked out. And I remember my second wife saying, "Oh, that'll never last." Lasted longer than we did. And there was an anyway.
Well, when you get a good one, you keep them.
Yeah.
You get a good one, you keep them. So
we have a lot of fun. We goof around. We with all the grandkids and yours, mine, and ours. I mean, it's a blast. It really is.
Yeah.
We enjoy it.
Sounds like you're having a good life.
Every day.
Yeah.
Every day it's a good life.
I'm gonna have to learn from that, right? And we got a lot of veterans out there that are going through difficult times, right?
Yep.
And they need to hear this stuff.
Well,
They need to hear this stuff because it can lift them up and realize, hey, you just got to take the one step forward and move it and start moving in that right direction.
I want to share it, and I don't know if you know Phyllis Stroud. She's a very close friend of mine, and we're on the Real Wishes Foundation board together. And she, I think she's on the board here also, Warrior Healing Center board.
She might be, and I don't know.
Yeah, I think Phyllis is on that board. And we've talked a lot of times about doing some things, some projects for veterans. One thing that I'm working on right now, and I get VFW magazine and Legion magazine, so I'm members of both. And I saw an article in there about a veterans village to give veterans a hand up, a place to live while they're going through some things and going to work, and they're just it's very hard for anybody that's had any trouble to get a rental or
Yes.
find a place to live. And it's not just about homeless; it's about people that just need a little push forward, a little
Right.
hand up. So I saw that article and I started looking around, and I found there's an agent in town who has a piece of property, and I had mentioned it at one of our marketing meetings. And about 2 months later, she came to me and she said, "This lady says she would love to put her property into this kind of a project."
Really?
So it's 4 acres in the middle of town that you could put 40 tiny homes on.
Mm-hmm.
And so I waiting to hear back from Chuck Patuszek at the city right now. He's city manager, and I'm taking this project to him because the city, if they can get involved and you make it theirs, and they'll be easier to work with. And so going to him about it, waiting to hear back. He's been gone. He's been on conferences and all that, but waiting to hear on that. If we can put this project together, this will be a veterans project specifically. And Phyllis is involved. She's involved here. The other agent that has this lady is going to be involved, and Holly Bell. Holly. She's the one that got me here, so you better know her.
Well, I talked to her on the phone.
Okay.
I didn't get to meet her in person.
Right.
But
So she's the new owner of the gun shop.
Right.
Second
Yeah.
owner of the gun shop.
Yeah.
But anyway, she's talking to her church because they've been thinking about projects like this. So it's something that it's going to take time, and it's going to take a lot of involvement. But we know places where we can get money for these kind of projects, and we know, people that can do the labor for these kind of projects.
Mm-hmm.
We know somebody that wants to put up the land for this kind of project. And if we get the city behind us, that'll cut out 42 miles of red tape. And this is something that we're working on right now. So
Yeah, we talked the last time we had a meeting on Tuesday. We talked with the directors of the Warrior Healing Center, and the fact that that's one of their challenges is when a veteran needs a place to stay, get him into the right place where a transition, like you said, it's not just for homeless, but people going through a transition period where they're kind of down and out. You don't want them to end up homeless.
No.
So you want to give them a place temporary to stay so they can get on their feet.
Yeah.
And this is
and
perfect.
that's what this is.
Yeah.
This was, they built a little one that's in Arkansas somewhere, and they built like 5 or 10 units, and it was not. It wasn't like for a week or so. It was while you're getting to work and while you're getting some paychecks behind you.
Yep.
And then when you got some paychecks behind you and some credit and a little bit of money, but then you go get a rental somewhere.
Yeah.
But they're basically little tiny houses, and this is your place for now.
Right.
Take care of it, fix it up, plant a garden.
Yeah.
You're
a gardener too, I hear.
Yeah.
I'm mad at my heart.
Yeah, I'm not.
Okay.
Those are chiltepines.
Okay, he's trying to kill me. What he told me already. I don't know if you can see how tiny these little peppers are, but he told me if I eat one.
Well, if you eat one, you'll be crying for weeks. But you can put one of those in a big bowl of homemade salsa, and it'll make everybody say, "Wow, this is good. What's in there?"
One in a big bowl.
Yeah.
So I don't know what I did to him, but I think he's trying to hurt me already.
I just like to share.
No, I appreciate it.
I just like to share.
No, I like it. And I'm a big gardener myself. I garden every year. I try to anyway. I have my failures and my successes every year.
I had a really good garden last year, and then this year we left the end of July, and we're gone until the 5th or 6th of September. And I have an automatic watering thing, and it grew the weeds really, really well.
Oh yeah,
and all the bugs really liked my tomatoes, and
there was a lot of rain while you were gone.
There was, so yeah.
You didn't even need to water.
It was, my horseradish. I have horseradish. And
right.
Some of my horseradish died, and I got one that survived, and I think it just got overwatered.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, yeah, I love to garden. I love to play out there in the dirt. Get it under your nails, get it in your hair and in your.
Yeah. So. It's work, but it's very satisfying to me. It's anytime you can work with your hands and do physical work and see the results.
You bet.
And bring in a bucket of stuff to my wife where she says, "Oh my God, I can't use all that,"
Yeah.
But I like to, well, there's a zucchini and there's this and there's that, and here you go.
I had probably 40 pounds of Roma tomatoes. I like Romas. I like the texture of the Romas on. I had about 40 pounds of Romas last year. I don't know how many vats of salsa I made. Come on over, kids, have some salsa.
Yeah. I have a lady that I work with, and she has one of those. I don't know if you've heard of them, a home freeze dried machine.
Yeah, I've seen them.
Called a Harvest,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Now, matter of fact, they carry them down there at Cal Ranch. And so I had a ton of peaches. I have one peach tree, a dwarf white peach tree, buckets of peaches. She was able to take quite a few of those and freeze dry them, and she brought me back all freeze dried, and they taste delicious.
Yeah.
I mean, they're crunchy now, of course, freeze dried, but they have wonderful flavor. And I've got them sealed, and they'll last 30 years in that bag now.
I've got a dehydrator, a big commercial dehydrator.
Okay.
And so that's the jerky that I make, and I've tried different fruits and vegetables, and some work and some not so good.
Not so good, yeah.
But I was going through the freezer. I've got a big chest freezer, the big upright freezer in the back, and I was going through there the other day, and I found peaches that somebody gave me that I put in the freezer from 2016. Okay, we're going to make wine out of those.
Really?
I don't know what else to do with them.
So what kind of condition were they in?
They look fine.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, they look okay. I'll pop them open and like I say, throw them in some sort of fermenter and make. I don't know what else I'm going to make out of them, but that'd be fun.
Man. So now I haven't even mentioned the gun shop.
The gun shop.
Second Amendment. Now you don't own it anymore, but you did start it.
I did start it 15 years ago. My wife and I were sitting around. I owned this building in Bisbee. I got some commercial property in Bisbee. I had this building, and I had a tenant bail out on me. And I said, "What am I going to do with this place?" I guess I just started a business and put it in there. And my wife says, "Well, Bisbee doesn't have a gun shop." And I thought, gun shop? Bisbee?
Yeah, I don't know if that's
interesting. And
not sure about that match myself.
4 months later, I got my federal firearms license, and 2 months later, we opened the first gun shop in Bisbee for 20-something years. And because I actually realized that old Bisbee, has a certain crowd, but the rest of Bisbee has normal people. Like I used to say, Bisbee has 7,000 people. There's 6,900 normal people and 100 screaming, whining hippies. And so the 6,900 normal people include border patrol agents, county sheriffs,
right?
People that run the car, the car repair businesses, and they work at Safeway and all that. They all have guns. They all like guns. I opened that shop there, and it was incredible.
Really?
The people that showed up and just came out of the wood, and the people in Old Bisbee did too. That was always kind of funny. People would come in, "Oh, hi, how you doing? What are you doing here?" "Well, I just want to know if you can clean my gun." "Oh." And they always give me a hard time about stuff. And they say, "If you don't knock it off, I'm going to out you." "Well, everybody knows I'm gay." "Yeah, but not everybody knows you have a gun." And that you really shut them up pretty bad. But anyway, we were very successful down there. And it was almost 14 years that we were in business in Bisbee. But I've been trying to sell the business for a couple of years, and I realized that nobody in Bisbee was going to buy it. They wanted it for free. They didn't have any money. So I figured a move to Sierra Vista would be good. So I started looking for a place, and we found a building out on Highway 92 that the real estate agent said, "Well, this is a tear down." Well, having been selling real estate in Bisbee for 20 plus years, nothing's a tear down. If you can see through it and the sun's coming in from the top, that's still a fixer-upper.
Mm-hmm.
So I bought this building, and myself and a business partner fixed it up and moved the gun shop.
And a nice job. I remember honestly looking at that building for sale, and I was like, "Wow, that's a good price."
It was a good price.
But it obviously needed work. And then shortly after I looked at it, I found out it had sold. And then you start working on it, and it was like, it looks nice. The roof you did is gorgeous.
Yeah.
You get the sunlight on that roof.
It's blinding.
It just
coming down the highway.
it looks like gold.
Yeah.
It looks like gold on that roof. But so that's where you move the gun shop, which is called.
It's a Second Amendment family gun shop.
No, was that the same name in Bisbee?
Yep.
Okay, same
You bet.
name in
And
Bisbee.
you know, family gun shop. You know, we obviously I'm a big family person, and you know, there's people out there that say family gun shop. That sounds silly. Well, you can come in there with the kids and the wife and everybody else, and it's a family inviting place. We love dogs there. You know, I'm a big dog person. Everybody's welcome in that gun shop. And there's other gun shops and other places where they're the I call them the Tupperware gun guys. You know, they sell the black plastic guns, and that's pretty much where they are. We have everything in there. You know, we actually, I don't know, I didn't bring the song with me, or I should have, but we have a song about our gun shop.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, kind of a nice little jingle. Anyway.
We could have played that. That would have been interesting. Yeah, we could have played that at the end or something.
Got a little gun shop, not that big. We
Yeah.
sell clocks and we sell cigs. Anyway, it's a fun little song.
Now,
but so anyway, the gun shop. When I moved to Sierra Vista, I hired Holly, and I had a couple of other employees that came with me from Bisbee. Jerry, he's our Jack Benny. He's been 79 years old 4 times in a row, and he's still staying there, and he's still having fun. He comes up from Bisbee every day now. Great guy, but knows everything about guns. I mean, he has guns that he bought brand spanking new 80 years ago, you know, just one of those kind of people. But we have fun there. And Holly, after a little while, said, first of all, when we moved to Sierra Vista, our business quadrupled.
wow.
Seriously, people in Sierra Vista, you know, in Bisbee, it's like, what do you got for $200? In Sierra Vista, it's like $1,000. I'll take 2. And so people appreciate better guns in Sierra Vista. They appreciate better guns in Bisbee, but it's a poor town.
Yeah,
They don't have the money.
They don't. Yeah,
And,
I've always heard that.
you know, if you're working for the county for $30,000 a year, which is a pretty well paid job at the county, you don't have a lot of discretionary income to go buy guns every month. In Sierra Vista, people do. So, you know, and a lot of our business comes from other areas too, but primarily now Sierra Vista business has boomed. Holly saw this after she was working there a couple of months, and she knew I had the business for sale, and she said, maybe I can buy it.
Yeah.
Let's work out a deal. And it took us, I don't know, 8-10 months to work out a deal, and now she is the owner of it. It is her business. She still calls me boss, and she still insists that I come by there all the time and participate, which is fine with me. I mean, I'm an old gun guy, and I enjoy being
rumor
there.
has it you even have a little shop in the back still that you do some work in. See, I've been doing my MI thing, checking on it.
One of the I had in the shop in Bisbee, I had a lot of room, and so I had a nice little gunsmithing set up in the back. When we moved to Sierra Vista, I didn't have room for that anymore. So you know, all my gunsmithing shop was piled in a corner in the back, and I finally picked up an RV, pretty much a derelict RV, and I moved the shop into there, and I got my drill press, and I got my workbenches, and all my nice cabinetry. RVs are just full of cabinets. I actually have a pretty nice little gunsmith.
And that's in the back.
It's
right there.
parked in the back. I own the building, and I own the space, and I own the land, so I just stuck an RV in the back there, and that's my gunsmith shop.
Wow.
I'll stay around doing that. I love the gun business. You know, I've had so many great people come through there over the years, and you know, it's fun. It's fun being in that business. I didn't want to be, you know, Saturday. I said to Sherry, I said, I don't have to go to work Saturday, because Saturday was most of the time I'd have to be there. You know, having employees that wanted to work on the weekend, sometimes worked, sometimes they had other things to do. Well, I have other things to do now. And so I'm going to 6 grandchildren's soccer games.
That's right.
on
That's right.
Saturday.
The soccer
And then we're going to
games.
the races Saturday afternoon.
I don't know how you're going to make 6 games. I really don't.
We're going to take the motorhome over there. and we're just going to park in the parking lot and go
Game after game
Yep.
after game.
traveling around.
Yeah, and of course with the whole family there, I'm sure it'll be
yeah.
just
It'll be
food and drinks and enjoyment
You bet.
all
You bet.
around. Almost like a soccer picnic. Yeah.
But the
He's
gun
kind of like a
shops are great.
soccer. Can I call him a soccer mom? No, he might hit me.
I'm a soccer grampy.
Okay,
A soccer
Yeah.
grampy.
if I call him a
That's right.
soccer, I might get hit punched. I won't do that.
Yeah. But no, the gun shop's been great, and I've enjoyed every minute of it. I'm glad, Holly's extremely enthusiastic about it, and I think she'll do well. She's learned an awful lot. She started in January, a year ago, January, so she's learned a lot. She doesn't know everything about guns, but she knows how to run her business.
No, that's what.
and
Yeah.
that's important.
She's got the other people there that know about guns.
Yeah,
So
you bet.
yeah, and she'll learn more as she goes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You bet.
She was enthusiastic about you being on the show.
I
When
know.
I called
I know.
and I
Come
asked
on,
for
Holly.
you,
I'm-
she was like, "Oh, he will love to be on your show."
In 37 years, I've been on a lot of radio shows and talk shows, and I've done those things for many, many, many years. And when she mentioned it, I said, I don't want to do that stuff anymore. I somebody else's 15 minutes of fame. Let somebody else do it. I've run for public office here. I've done all that stuff. And she said, no, you got to do this. I said, why do I have to do this? She says, it's for the gun shop. I said,
ooh, she got you that way.
Okay, you win.
Yeah.
Yeah. Veteran business, yes,
Yeah.
and I'll do anything for the veterans, and I'll do anything for businesses, and so yeah. So here I am, and I'm having fun so far.
So for all you gun owners, there's a few of them here in Sierra Vista. We've already determined that. So right on 90, you got to go. I know. It seems like a long way.
Oh Lord,
Oh,
it's,
no.
it's 6 miles from here.
Let me tell you, we get this because Ruby's, we're right down the street
Yeah.
from you, right? We
Yeah.
still hear people, oh, I never make it out that way. Like, if you live in a big city, the distance from Hereford to Sierra Vista is a joke. I mean, it's like a short little driving around down the street, but people still act like it's far away. We're spoiled. Let's just admit it. We're spoiled.
Yeah.
And I will admit, I do the same thing. If I'm home, I live in Hereford, and my wife's like, "Oh, let's go into town and go." I'm like, "You want to go all the way into
town?
I go all the way into town.
Yeah.
It's so far away."
You
But
know,
we do that. But it's not. So
it's
first-
8 miles from my house to 90 and 92.
Yeah. So you're 92. What's the closest crossroad?
We are just north of Ramsey 92.
Yes.
So just north of there.
Yeah.
So basically, we're between the two body shops, Chan's Auto Body and Jensen's Funeral Home.
Right.
Okay.
So you all know where that is.
Yeah, everybody knows.
And there's a
where
big
Jensen's
A-frame.
funeral home is.
You got a big, huge A-frame roof that shines like gold in
Yeah.
the sunlight. And Second Amendment.
Yeah,
Great name, by the way. Great name. Great name for a gun shop.
Family gun shop.
Yeah.
Bring a whole family.
Yep. So, it was a veteran-owned business. Technically, it's not now, but veteran supported.
Good.
It's a business that supports veterans.
You bet. And I'll stay there forever and ever until they get tired of me because
I don't
it's
think
my baby.
Doesn't sound like Holly's gonna kick you out anytime soon.
No, that's my baby. I started it from scratch. I started it from absolutely nothing, and built it up to what it is today. And it was kind of hard, while we were off gallivanting around the north, we went to the Cody Firearms Museum, and it's a huge, huge, huge museum. It's got 5 museums there. It's called the Museum of the Northwest or something like that. It's in Wyoming. And I'm walking through there and I'm looking at it. I see, I got one of those. I got one of those at the shop. I've sold a bunch of them. And Sherry's looking at me. She says, you can't sell the gun shop, can you? And she saw the tear run down my face. And I said, I really agreed.
But now you got time.
But
You got
now
more time now.
Now I
You got more time to enjoy.
I'm not strapped to the place, and that was getting to me. It's hard to retire when you have multiple businesses, and if you can cut loose with one, then that sets
And I
you-
imagine
sets
the
you in
real
that
estate
direction.
is very flexible. You can
It is,
kind of decide.
I've got a full-time real estate assistant, Joanne, and she actually, we kept a desk space at the
I
gun
met
shop.
her.
She's fantastic.
I met her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I did go. I walked in
we have
there.
a desk space there at the gun shop, and so that's where she is all the time, and I'm in and out as need be. So yeah, we're still doing real estate out of there, and then I have another business that is kind of a once in a while business, but I have a business called Lawyer's Resource, where I do expert testimony for attorneys for cases. And
Really,
so yeah, in guns and real estate
really.
because of my expertise in
Uh-huh.
both fields. So they call me up and they hire me to go testify on this case or that case,
Wow.
or provide. And I do estate work, evaluation of estates, both in real estate. So that's another.
So you're
company
an
that I have.
expert witness
I am.
in cases.
Yep, I've done
Dealing
that.
with both real estate and guns. That's
Mhm.
interesting.
Yeah.
That's really fascinating.
Yeah, so that's another company that's kind of a side business, but I figure once I really, 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 really retire, then I'll just do that because I can do that by email. For the most part, show up for court once in a while. So it's all fun.
You are into a lot of stuff.
But the gun shop's been great. Oh yeah, I do. Like I say, with the Realtor Association, I was on the Realtor board for 35 years. And I'm actually going off this month, and it's my last time ever as past president, past chairman, past this, past that. So I'm getting out of that stuff, but we still do dog rescue and I don't know, whatever. We don't have any extra time.
Well, now this veteran thing you're doing, the housing project.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of visualize maybe in the future some fundraising opportunities for our network. What do you think over there? You've been so quiet. You came back and you've been so quiet over there, Eric.
I'm still on East time zone, so it's probably a bit of time now.
Yeah.
Anything's possible. I mean, we talk about a whole bunch of different things out there, so.
Yeah. Because that's a. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I think this project, if we can get this to come together, part of the problem with any kind of homelessness or home building project or veterans project or anything is that there's always 10 groups and each one has an ego, and they want it to be their project. And that's why I like the Warriors Healing Centers, because you guys got a lot of things going on here, and it's not just this guy's ego and that company's ego and that nonprofit's ego. So I'm looking at this as I want to put this together and then give it to the city and let the city have the ego. And because first of all, it takes a lot of the heat off of everybody else and trying to force things to happen. And it just makes it easier. I don't know if they can get behind it, if the city will get behind this project and we just bring them the people that'll build the houses and the people that'll provide the funding and the people that'll live in there and the people that, if we just bring all this stuff to them and do it, that's what I'm looking at, because the government has the biggest ego of all.
By far.
Give it to them and let them exercise their ego, and all of us sit back and say, well, 25 years ago, I participated in that or whatever.
Yeah, I helped put that together.
Yeah, I don't, having run for political office and got my ass trounced in the past, I don't have any ego anymore. I've been married 3 times. You can't hurt my feelings. So, all I want to do is see something come to fruition. And, the gun shop, it was, gee, can I do this? Yeah, did it. Now turn it over to somebody else. Let them play with it. Anything that we can do to find a place for veterans to stay and to live and to prosper and to move forward, to come out of that hole.
Right.
That's what we're looking at now.
Right.
So if we can do this project, I'm pretty sure that whoever walks away with the big ego about it will be happy, and we'll all be happy too.
Yeah.
But you look at nonprofits around here, anywhere, and it's all about their corporate ego, their nonprofit ego. Let it go away. Let's just do this thing.
Let's work together.
Let's just do this thing.
And like you said, the Warrior Healing Center does do that because they partner with so many other nonprofits. They're not standalone. They're like, okay, you need help. here we got people over here that can help you, or we've got this kind of help you, different kind of help. We got these people over here, working together. That's what our network's about too, trying to help each other, not just be egocentric and say, okay, what can this network do for my business? Because if we all have that attitude, it doesn't work, right?
Yeah.
I mean, yes, we all want help. Let's admit it. I mean, it's tough to be in
And
business.
we all want to succeed.
We all want to succeed, and having a small business today is tough. But what can I do to help Eric and his business? What can I do to help you and the gun shop prosper? What can I do to help the brand new Doc's Watering Hole bar, nightclub, and restaurant to succeed? We had them on. What can I do? And when it's like I already can tell from you, you go out of your way to help other people, and it comes back.
It does.
It does come back.
It does.
You don't do it for that reason,
but
it does.
But it comes back.
It does come back.
A long time ago, I read that public service is its own reward. You don't have to expect something back from volunteerism, from public service.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to expect something back. It comes back anyway. My wife and I placed 30 or 40 Great Danes over a year period. And just that's what we did. We found homes for dogs.
Yeah.
We've
and that's a great
and that's just, like I say, volunteerism is its own reward. And I think that a project like we're talking about right now, if we help one veteran, that's good. I'm with Real Wishes Foundation, and our goal, our stated goal, is to give people a hand up, not a handout, a hand up. We bought a pair of steel-toed boots for a homeless guy one time because he had a job, but he couldn't afford $100 pair of boots. We bought him a pair of boots. He went to work. He sent us a wonderful letter and did some woodworking for it. We get those kind of things back. And so, that's the nice thing about Real Wishes Foundation. They don't expect anything. They just want to give somebody a hand up. Yeah. We had our annual fundraiser for the Wishes Foundation is Dances Like the Stars. And we had our best year ever. We just raised $60-something thousand.
Wow.
And we cut a check to Warriors Healing Center for $4,500. Should be coming through next month sometime. We're gonna have a little ceremony and say, "Here's your check. Here's your check. Here's your check."
Well, now we just gave them heads up. Now it's supposed to be a surprise because they're listening.
No, I'm sure.
Now they know.
Phyllis is on our board. She's on your board, so I'm sure you guys know about it already. She was instrumental in every year we nominate a bunch of nonprofits, and I'm sure she's the one that nominated you guys. We've been beneficiaries of the sheriff's charity ride every year, and every couple of years, because they won't do it every year to the same groups, but we get money from them for fundraising, and we give back to people they nominate. So
yeah,
I think we just wrote $20,000 worth of checks to organizations that give other people a hand up.
And I think that's an important lesson for all of us. I mean, if you're a veteran and you're struggling, whatever struggle it might be some kind of dependency or financial or, disability. If you go find yourself helping other people, your problems seem to shrink. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. When you actually go out and start working and helping other people, and you start to think about your problems a little bit less, and you start to realize, I can get through this. My problems are no different than a lot of other people's problems, right? And you start to minimize it and realize, I'm going to get through this.
And that's one of the things I always say is, I know better people that have been through worse things, and that makes sometimes, there's tough times for everybody.
Yeah. But
it sure makes it easier to put it into that perspective.
Yes,
and you just move forward.
Yeah.
That's the dance of life. Take 2 steps forward before you take 1 step back. And that way you can just keep moving forward. Hopefully.
So that's a great project. I'm gonna see if we can't assist you in getting that moving forward. One thing I wanted to say about city, I found it interesting. There was an officer in the building that I still work as a contractor on post, and he had seen the show, and so he stopped me in the hallway. Was talking. We got to talking. Found out his wife was involved in the city government, and he was saying how I guess the young people city government now, not a bunch of old guys, like it used to be, but actually a younger generation, and they're starving for people in the community to join them.
Feedback,
and she said they have the meetings and they're always open them up and to say they're and they don't get a lot of feedback, and I'm guilty of that too. I have never really gotten involved in the city government, and that's another way that we can help our community overall is to get a little bit more involved. What is the city trying to do? What are they working on? What projects do they have? Do they need help in an area?
I keep trying to step back from that stuff. I've been on the Upper San Pedro Partnership. I've been, on the various county boards and associations and city stuff, and I keep trying to step back from that because I don't want to be that old guy that's been there for 30 years.
We need the younger people to step up now.
But by the same token, you got that institutional memory. All right. And when somebody says, we should do this, say, we did that 20 years ago. And the outcome was really, really bad. You don't want to do that. And you don't want to see them go through the same pain that you went through doing that.
You
before.
have the experience.
So you've got to somehow maintain that institutional memory, and maybe hand it down to the guy who's only been there 10 years instead of the guy that's been there 30 years, like me, But I don't want to see things fail for lack of participation. And I've seen that happen. Committees fall apart because the old guys resign or retire or move on or whatever, and the young guys just are wallowing.
And we need that younger generation to start taking our place. As you said, you can stay there as an advisor when hey, have this ever happened before? Yes, it has. Like you said, 25 years ago we went through that already, and this is what happened. Here was the outcome. But have the younger generation start to take those seats, and get involved and think about what's going on in your city. Again, we, small community, Sierra Vista, we don't want to live in a bubble. We want to reach out, find out what's going on in the community, business wise, politics wise, and local politics, get involved. And it's amazing. My dad always said, I've said it before in the show, when you live my dad always said, son, it's better to be a big fish in a small pond. You've heard this one, right?
Oh yeah.
And then a small fish in a big pond. So we're in a small pond. So every one of us is a big fish, and you're an example of that. Seriously, because you've been very involved over the last 30-umpteen years in a lot of things.
So back in 2004, I ran for county supervisor, and I ran against a very popular incumbent, and I liked the guy, but it was one of those, they were spending money like drunken sailors on a Saturday night. And, the county, there was just, I knew that the market was going to crash after 2004. That's my experience. And so I ran for office. I got trounced pretty well. I mean, he was a very popular incumbent. I got trounced pretty well. We weren't friends for a little while after that, as the campaigns go. But a few years ago, we were working on various committees together. We were both on the National Resources Conservation District Board at the same time. And he says, you're a community leader. No, I'm not. I'm just a guy that does stuff. He says, that's what community leaders are.
Right.
Okay, that's interesting. And I've been trying to resign from the Real Wishes Foundation board for the past year or so. And Joanne, who's also on the board, she's a treasurer. She says, you can't. I said, why not? She says, because you're the voice of reason. I said, tell my wife that. tell her I'm the voice of reason somewhere. And you know, I think that they could get by without me, but I'm also the guy that calms everybody down and says, I think we've tried that before and it didn't work right. So anyway, but it's and again, that sounds like ego, but I'm just trying to do the right thing. I want to do the right thing, and I want everybody else to do the right thing. And how do you do that? You have to influence people.
Mhm.
And you have to talk to them, and you have to explain that, you know, if you do it like this, you know, it might just work. But if you do it like this, it probably won't.
And this communication you're talking about is in person.
That's right. It's
Right.
in person. You know,
I mean,
you get a text message. Say,
no, yeah. I mean, it's amazing, but yeah, you got to get off.
Be face to
You got to
face.
get off the phone and the text message and social media. I mean, because anything, and I've said this before. You know, if somebody has a complaint about a business in town, one of our veteran-owned business or any small business, don't post it. Don't post
go to the
on
business owner.
Yes,
Talk
in.
to the owner and say, "Gee, do you know that this employee doesn't know their house was hole in the ground?"
Yeah.
You know?
Or hey, I think you charged me too much for this. Or hey, I bought these this and that.
Yeah, you got to go.
Right.
You got to go talk to them. I see that all the time. That, you know, they got that rants and raves places on, you know, Sierra Vista rants and raves.
Yeah.
So I look at that.
Yeah.
And that's usually my response. What did the owner say when you talk to them? And that usually shuts everybody up.
Okay,
Because they didn't talk.
because any one of us, we all have small businesses. We all are the same. If one of our customers who we value, because like I said, it's hard to be in small business today. You got a customer comes in and they got a comment or complaint or, wow, we're going to take care of it. You know, we're going to go, oh, let me take care of that for you right now.
And the only time you can't do that is when, you know, you have a complaint about the government's involvement in small businesses because they don't care. They don't
care. No,
you know, they're the biggest obstacle. But no, I absolutely, you know, somebody one time I've never participated in Yelp. All right, I think Yelp is one of the biggest backstabbing jokes on the planet. Never participated. One time, I had a complaint on Yelp, and I looked into it, and the complaint was, well, I was there on Monday, and he walked in, and the sign said closed, and he acted like I wasn't even there. Well, I remember. I turned around and said, we're closed today. Do you need anything in particular? No, just wanted to look around. I said, well, you know, come back later because I'm closed and I was going in to do some paperwork and things like that. And I couldn't have the distraction. It went on Yelp.
yeah.
And, you know, I tried to get it removed from Yelp and said, I'm closed on Monday. My business is closed on Monday. This guy's never been in my, how can he have a complaint about me not letting him in on Monday? No response. No response from them whatsoever. Yeah. So I have one negative Yelp complaint, and it's probably been there for 8 years or something like that. But, you know, talk to me.
Right.
I mean, the guy just walked away. I remember him. I know who it was, you know, and he was actually sitting at the laundromat waiting for his clothes to dry. And he came over to the gun shop. And this is in Bisbee, of course, where people do things like this. But
yeah.
Anyway, no, you know, you got to be able to communicate. And business owners, it's not easy. It's something else coming up. It you know, the credit card charges or the you know, the bank charges or the the new taxes. The did you remember to file this paperwork?
Mm-hmm.
Never heard of this paperwork before. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
You know, that's why I have Joanne. She's great. She makes sure that all that stuff gets done. And then if she doesn't, I got somebody to bitch at.
Yeah.
You know, but,
And one mistake will cost you.
oh yeah.
I sell mostly all food. So it's no and I'm not in the city, so there's no tax on
Right.
food
Yeah.
for the state of Arizona for home use.
Right.
Yeah, home for free. But we have a couple things that we sell that are taxable. like the coffee tumblers.
Uh-huh.
We sell
Yeah.
gourmet coffee. You know, and we sell gourmet loose leaf tea, so we do sell teapots occasionally. Most months I will literally do my own accounting books. Most month I got to do the tax thing every month in the state of Arizona, and it will be like $2.50 that I owe
Yeah.
in taxes, or $4 or something small like that. There's of course the fee for doing it online, so I pay the fee on top of that. And one month I forgot to file that form, and I was late, and so my $2.50 tax that was owed turned out to be $152.
Yeah. I know just exactly what you're saying.
Okay.
We had one recently. I just got a refund from the state for $84 because, and I filed my aztaxes.gov thing religiously, and I filed it. Oh, I know what it was. We changed our address, and there was a $12 filing fee to change the address.
Yep, I did that.
And so we didn't pay the $12 because it was just a simple change of address online. It didn't say there's two ways you could do it. You could change it here, you could change it here. If you change it here, there's no fee. If you change it here, there's a $12 fee. So I changed it here, and it never went through. And for about 6 months, we kept trying to get it changed, and we called them, and they said, "Yeah, it's all good. You just need to send us a check for $12." So I did, and then I got a bill for $12 online, and then I got another bill for $12 and said, "You didn't pay this." So finally, we called up, and they said, "Oh yeah, don't worry about it." Okay, so we just got a refund. I got it the other day for $84, and it was $12 times this is, plus I I took a picture of it. I sent it to Joanne. I said, "What's this for?" She says, "That's your $12 address change fee
that you paid multiple times.
times 6 or 8 or whatever it was." Good grief, you guys! And so that's the kind of thing that it's frustrating.
It is.
It's $84. It's $12. It's $152. It's frustrating because there's 6 clerks at the other end. You'll never talk to the same one twice, and they don't care. They've never run a business, obviously, and they just don't care.
But the customers are worth it.
The customers are fun.
The customers are what
great.
make your business enjoyable. You get, I know my wife runs the store most of the time, and she gets very, very friendly with her. I would say she considers them friends.
Yep.
She had another one. I always brag about her. I like to brag about my wife. You don't mind. So Sunday we're closed. We're closed on Sundays and Wednesdays. So we're closed, and she was busy. She was out helping me in the yard. She was cleaning the house and cooking and all this stuff. And she finally sat down to relax, and the phone went off, and the lady wanted to know if she was open because of a special occasion for some family. My wife's like, "I can meet you there in a half an hour."
Mm-hmm.
So she got up and we got dressed. She even asked the lady, she go, "Are you going to be alone? Because I'm not going to get all fancy dressed up. I'm just going to run down there." She goes, "Yeah, you'll be fine." Yeah. So my wife ran down there, opened the store for the lady to take care of her. But yeah, you build up that kind of relationship, and it makes it worth it.
It was kind of funny because a lot of my Bisbee customers were older guys, old gun guys, but in their 80s, and they'd come in regularly, and they'd buy guns, they'd sell guns, and after a while, I found that their wives were dropping them off at the gun shop to hang out while the wives went to do stuff at the church or go shopping or whatever. Yeah. And so we called it adult gun shop daycare.
Yeah.
And it was hysterical.
Go talk to Dave for a while.
That's how Jerry, who's now been working for me for 4 or 5 years. All right. He was a customer for a long time. His wife, he was retired. He retired in the 90s. Okay. He was driving her crazy. She said, go to the gun shop. So he came to the gun shop. I said, what's going on? He says, my wife threw me out. I said, oh no, you guys been married for like 50 something years. She just threw me out today. She said, go to the gun shop, find something to do. I said, why don't you come to work here, Jerry? Because, a long time, friend and employee had died recently. I said, why don't you just come hang out here? He says, you pay me? I said, yeah. He said, went home, asked his wife, came back a half hour later, said, when do I start? And he said, oh, good, 4 or 5 years ago. Jerry's great. And I said, I told Holly, I said, you buy the gun shop, Jerry comes with it.
Do we have any comments up here that we didn't address? We've been talking. Come out and join us at the. Okay, yeah, they're welcoming you at the network.
Yeah, I get those once in a while.
And check your ego at the door.
Check your ego at the door. You bet.
Said to me. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
We agree.
All right, we're about done, aren't we? Man, that hour went by fast. You're an amazing guy, Dave. I gotta say, I'm glad I got a hold of you, and got you on the show. Appreciate you for coming.
I thank you. It's good to be here, and I'm glad. I thank you for what you're doing and what all you guys here are doing. I mean, I'm just, when I first found out about this place, I just walked in one day and looked around and said, "This is cool. This is good." I want to be more involved. Obviously, I have a lot of things going on, but I think that with the sale of the gun shop, I'll have a little bit more time, an extra hour and a half a week at least. So,
well, we take what we can get. Every one of us are busy. We can't all do everything, but
I appreciate everyone's service, and like I say, I protected all the guest houses in southern Germany from the commie hordes. And
there you go.
That was my claim to fame. So.
Yep. All right. Well, Eric, you got anything else to add? What? Are you smiling? Oh, smiling.
Who do we have next week?
He asks me that every week.
Yeah,
every
so
week.
You got a plan, right?
Yeah, but we never get to you. We never answer the question because you have to watch the show next week to find out who our guests.
You guys remember the plan? The whole thing was a battle plan. Was the first thing to go out.
Yeah.
The plan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So.
That's
all right.
Just tune in next week.
So tune in next week here at the Warrior Healing Center with the Veteran Network. Yeah, I cut it a little bit short that way. The Veteran Business Owner Network, to find out who's going to be our next guest. And as you can see, I mean, we've had some fascinating people on this show today. Dave, thank you. Another one. I mean, I could talk to you for a lot of hours.
Well, we can go do that later. You going to Doc's tonight?
No, I'm not. No, I'm going to watch the rest of the game. But so tune in next week and we'll see you then. For now, sign off.
Adios.
Yeah.